Hi, welcome back, Mind Fit Empowerment. So good to see you today. Today, I want to talk about something that is really close to my heart and something that I think is close to a lot of our hearts, and for those of us who have bipolar, because we're talking about something that has the power to heal or to deeply hurt, and that is words. The words that people say to us when we are struggling, the words that people use when they find out that we have bipolar, the words people speak over us when they don't know what to say, and the words we sometimes carry for years, even when the person who said them may have the best intentions. So I want to start with, I think, something personal, a personal story. There have been moments in my life, I know, when I was already barely holding it together. Moments when my mind felt loud and my emotions felt too big for my body, and I was doing everything I could just to keep functioning. On the outside, I may have looked fine. I may have still been going to work, still answering messages, still taking care of what I needed to be taken care of. But honestly, on the inside, I felt like I was drowning. Have you ever been there? And in those moments, I remember people saying things that truly, I believe, they meant the best intentions and they felt like they were being helpful. Things like, just try to be positive. Or everybody has mood swings. Or you're stronger than this. Or maybe you just need to pray more. Or at least it's not worse. Or you don't seem bipolar to me. And I know most of those words were not meant to harm me. But honestly, they really deeply did. Because when you're living with bipolar disorder, you are fighting battles already that people cannot see. You are questioning yourself, wondering if you are too much. You are wondering if you're a burden, if people are tired of you, if you are ever going to feel stable, peaceful, or normal again. So when someone says something that minimizes what you're experiencing, even if they mean it well, it can make you feel even more alone. And I remember in those moments walking away from conversations thinking they just don't get it, and maybe they never will. And that loneliness is one of the hardest parts. Because honestly, bipolar can already be so isolating. Depression can make you pull away. Mania or hypermania can make you feel misunderstood. Mixed episodes can make you feel like you are living in a storm no one else can even hear. And when people around you say things that make you feel judged, dismissed, or misunderstood, it can feel like a door closes. And sometimes we stop sharing. And that's not because we don't need support. Honestly, we need support all the more. But it's because we are tired of having to explain our pain to people who respond with words that make it hurt even worse. So today, I want this to be an invitation to us all. If you're someone living with bipolar, I want you to feel seen, and I want you to know that if someone's words have hurt you, you are not weak for being affected by them, because words do matter. And if you are a loved one listening because someone you care about has bipolar, thank you. I want you to know that this is not meant to shame you. It's meant to help and empower you, because most people are not trying to be hurtful. Most people just don't know what to say. And the truth is, the right words, honestly, can be a lifeline. Sometimes one sentence can help someone feel less alone. One compassionate response can help someone stay connected instead of isolating. And one supportive phrase can remind someone that they are loved in the middle of an episode, and that is so important. So let's stop and let's take a few minutes and let's talk about the power of words. When someone tells you they have bipolar disorder, or when someone you love is struggling, it can be tempting to jump in with advice. That is human. We want to fix things. We want to say the perfect thing. We want to make the pain go away. But people with bipolar usually don't need quick fixes in that moment. We need connection. We need safety. We need to know that you are not afraid of us, disgusted by us, exhausted by us, or secretly judging us. I think that more than anything, we need to know that our diagnosis of bipolar does not make us feel less lovable, because that's the way that we're feeling in that moment. One of the most hurtful things that people can say is, everyone's a little bipolar. And I know people usually say this because they're trying to relate and they are trying to say, I understand mood changes too. But people with bipolar disorder, it's not the same thing as having a bad day or feeling moody. It's not just being happy one minute and sad the next. It's a serious mental health condition that can affect sleep, energy, judgment, relationships, work, finances, emotions, and daily functioning. So when someone says everyone is a little bipolar, it can feel like they are minimizing something that has deeply impacted your life. So please don't say that phrase anymore. A more helpful thing to say, let me give you something more helpful, would be, I know I may not fully understand what bipolar feels like, but I want to understand you better. That one sentence actually really matters because it says, I'm not pretending to know everything, but I care enough to listen. And then let's talk about another hurtful phrase. Are you taking your meds? Now, let me be clear. Medication can be a really important part of treatment for many people with bipolar. But when that question is asked every single time we are sad, every time we are excited, every time we are frustrated, it can feel like our feelings are being dismissed because you're asking about our meds, not about our feelings. We feel too. I feel like people are saying your emotions are not valid. They are just symptoms. And if you think about it, as someone asking you like that, that would hurt. Because people with bipolar are still allowed to have normal emotions. We're allowed to be angry. We're allowed to be excited. We're allowed to be sad. We're allowed to have opinions and boundaries and reactions without everything being reduced to us being bipolar. So what would be a more helpful thing for you to say? Would be, do you want to talk about what you're feeling right now? Or how can I support you today? Or I'm here with you and I'm not going away, because a big fear is that people are going to leave us when we're bipolar. Another one that can hurt is, you seemed fine yesterday. That's another phrase. This one can feel especially painful because bipolar symptoms can shift. Some days we may look okay, but inside, honestly, we are fighting hard. Some days we may function because we have no choice. Some days we smile, teach, work, serve, parent, show up, and answer messages while feeling completely overwhelmed inside. So when someone says, you seemed fine yesterday, it can make us feel like we have to prove our pain. A better response to this one would be, I didn't realize you were struggling that much. Thank you for telling me. Opening up is hard, so thank us for telling you that we're struggling. That response creates safety. It says, I believe you. And honestly, being believed is really powerful. Another hurtful thing people say is, you're too much. Or maybe they don't really use those exact words, but that kind of message comes through to us. And it's like, you're exhausting. You're dramatic. You're always going through something. You need to calm down. You're making this harder than it needs to be. Those kind of things really hurt us. They can really, honestly, I think with bipolar especially, they can stick because with many of us, we already fear being too much. That's a deep fear in bipolar. We fear overwhelming people. We fear being abandoned. We fear that our struggles will push people away. So when someone confirms that fear with their words, it can deepen the wound. And I think something instead, try saying, I may not know exactly what to do, but I care about you and I want to keep showing up. And that is so powerful for us. You do not have to have all the answers to be supportive. Another phrase that I think can be hurtful is, just think positive. Now, positive thinking is not bad. Gratitude is not bad. Mindset matters. But bipolar disorder is not fixed simply by choosing better thoughts. When someone is depressed, manic, hypomanic, anxious, or in a mixed episode, telling them to just think positive can make them feel like their struggle is their fault. Like if they were stronger, more faithful, more disciplined, or more grateful, they would not be struggling. A more helpful thing to say is, I know this is heavy. You don't have to pretend with me. We sometimes feel like we have to pretend with everyone. So not pretending with someone is really powerful. That gives someone permission to be honest. And honesty is often where a healing begins. Another thing that people say is, I could never handle what you go through. And this one is really tricky because it may be meant as a compliment, and I get that, but sometimes it can make the person with bipolar feel separate, like they are living a life no one else could survive. It can also make them feel like their life is tragic. So a more encouraging way to say it would be, I admire the strength it takes for you to keep going, and I'm proud of you. See that lands differently than the other one. It recognizes the person's struggle without making the person feel like their life is hopeless. If someone you love has bipolar and they open up to you, one of the best things you can say to that person is, thank you for trusting me with you, because opening up when you're bipolar takes a lot of courage. That one sentence, thank you for trusting me with this, is beautiful because it honors the courage it takes to share. Another helpful phrase is, I believe you. That may sound simple, but for someone who has felt misunderstood, judged, or dismissed, those 3 words can be deeply healing for someone. You can also say, I don't see you differently. Oh, that would be amazing if I ever heard that one. Because one of the fears people who have when they share their bipolar diagnosis is that often others will start looking at them through the lens of bipolar instead of seeing them as a whole person. So they'll start seeing them as bipolar first and then a person. You want to be seen as a person first. You can say, you are not your diagnosis. You're not bipolar. You're not your bipolar. That matters because that may be part of our story, but that is not all who we are. You can say, I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to support you. That takes the pressure off both people. It takes the pressure off you too, because you don't have to worry about fixing us. We don't want you to fix us. You can say, do you want advice or do you just need someone to listen? That is one of the most loving questions you can ask, because sometimes we do need practical help. There are moments where we could use some practical help. We're in crisis. But sometimes we just need someone to sit with us in the hard without trying to solve it immediately. You can say, what does support look like for you when you are depressed? Or what helps you when you feel elevated or restless? Or would it help if I checked in on you tomorrow? Ask us questions. We'll share with you what's going to work and what's going to help. Specific support is often better than vague support. So ask us those questions. Instead of saying, let me know if you need anything, try saying, would it help if I called you later? Would it help if I sat with you for a little while? Or would it help if I reminded you that this feeling will not last forever? Ask us if it's going to help us or hurt us. And the person with bipolar listening right now, I want to speak directly to you. Listen clearly, because you are not too much. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not a burden because you have needs. You are not weak because words hurt you. You are human. And you deserve people in your life who speak with compassion, patience, and love. You deserve support that does not shame you. You deserve relationships where you do not have to hide the hardest parts of your story just to be accepted. And I know that not everyone will understand bipolar. Some people may say the wrong thing. Some people may walk away. Some people may not have the capacity to support you in the way you need. But get this, that does not mean you are unworthy of support. It means that you need the right support. And if you are a loved one listening to this today, once again, thank you. Please remember this. Your words may not cure someone's bipolar disorder, but they can help create safety. They can help someone feel less alone. They can help someone stay connected when isolation is trying to pull them under. And remember that although words can hurt, you don't have to say everything perfectly. But at the same time, you can choose words that sound like compassion. And I'm going to give you a few examples here once again. Words like, I am here. Words like, I believe in you. You matter. You are not alone. I love you through this. We will take this one step at a time. Those kind of words, they have power. The truth is we all carry words. And some words become wounds. Some words become reminders. Some words become anchors. Some words become the very thing that help make us carry it through another day. One word can help us make it through another day. So let's be people who use words to build bridges, not walls. Let's be people who listen before we label, who comfort before we correct, who ask before we assume, who remind people of who they are, not just what they struggle with. And for those of us living with bipolar, let's also practice speaking life over ourselves. Because let's think about this. Sometimes the hardest words we hear are not from other people, but they come from the ones that we say to ourselves. So today, maybe for those of us bipolar, we can say to ourselves words like this. I am still worthy. I am still healing. I am still growing. I am not my worst episode. I can build a fulfilling life. I'm allowed to need support. I am not alone. because you are not alone. And there is hope, there is healing, there is stability, there is purpose, and there is life beyond just surviving. So thank you so much for listening today. If I'll encourage you, help you feel seen, or give you words of support. Maybe you can share this with someone you love. And subscribe to my channel if you're on YouTube. Like this if you're on Facebook. And like I said, share this with someone else who either knows someone with bipolar or has bipolar, because your words matter. Use them to heal. And I'll see you next time. Until then, be empowered. You've got this. I'm proud of who you are.